The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, brought to you by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, member FDIC. Going now to Hannibal, Missouri, home of the Pirates, and head football coach Jeff Gschwender. And, Coach, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Coach, a 9-3 season a year ago ended by West Plains in the state Class 4 state tournament. Talk a little bit about last year and things that really came kind of into focus for you, things that really went well. And then, of course, you had the injury late in the season, but kind of put a bow on last year's season.
Last year, started off with a lot of question marks, just kind of figuring out who could fit in some of those key roles, not just on the defensive side, but, offensive side at quarterback especially, was a big one, and who could fill in those extra running back receiver spots. So, we started off a little bit shaky, just kind of trying to find our feet. So we had a lot of guys that had zero experience playing on Friday night going into last season. But, after we got a couple games under our belt, we started to get a little more comfortable about week 3, week 4, we really started playing well. Our quarterback, Waylon Anders, he was a sophomore last year, really started seeing the field well. The game started slowing down for him. And, his decision-making throughout the year was better than I've ever seen out of a sophomore quarterback. I mean, he was 71 completion percentage. He only had, 5 interceptions on 20-something touchdowns. The kid is just he's a bit undersized, but, his brain has it all there. He gets rid of the ball, he takes care of the ball, and he manages a game really, really well. So, we really found our stride through the bulk of the season, through conference play. Just working some different things that we had thought about throughout the year, but really just wanted to get some experience for some of our guys. And, we're able to work through that as we worked into week, 5, 6, 7. Dealt with some injury week 9 against Battle. Neas Williams broke his collarbone, was out the rest of the year. And, we just kind of had to refocus on kind of how we wanted to run the offense and switch some pieces around on defense as well, because he was a prominent figure on, in our defense backfield. So, we got that figured out. We ended up beating Battle week 9 going into the playoffs. That Battle game was a tough fought game. We had to figure some stuff out on the fly and work in a sophomore running back that hadn't played a whole heck of a lot, and he really stepped up, and Mike Ferreira. And, that really led us into that quarterfinal game. We had a good, tough game against Jeff City, played really well, went into the quarterfinal game against West Plains and played pretty decently, and it was a heck of a game until going about, a few series into the third quarter, and our other starting running back broke his arm, and we were down to pretty much JV running backs after that. And then it was we're just trying to figure something out to get something going offensively, and we just couldn't find it, and West Plains was a heck of a good football team. They out-physicaled us a little bit and, put some points on the board and just shut us down second half, and that's kind of how it ended.
Going into this season, you obviously got Aeneas Williams coming back. He'll be a senior. You've got your sophomore quarterback back from a year ago. Who are some of the guys, key guys that you lost, due to graduation last year, and who's going to kind of step in and fill some of those roles?
A big one was at linebacker, Ashton Watts. He was a 2-year All-State linebacker, just a stud kid. He was a coach on the field. Not only did he know what everybody was supposed to do and where everybody was supposed to align, but the kid made plays too. He was a player who's he's going up to Truman to play football for them next year. So that was a really big loss, especially on our defensive side. We also lost both of our cornerbacks too. And Hayden Robertson and Markel Humphrey, they're going off to play football. Hayden Robertson at Missouri Valley and Markel Humphrey's playing speed football at Quincy University. But, those were some big things on the defense side that we really had to fill this year. Dylan Bach was an inside linebacker last year, really stepped in about halfway through the year and played really well all the way through the rest of the year. So, he's stepped back in that linebacker role. And we got a sophomore linebacker coming up in Kason McAfee, who's really, really developed throughout the summer and is really turning into a player. So we're really anxious to see what he can do on Friday night. And, with those sophomores, it's always a big question mark once bullets start flying. So, we're anxious to see what he can do. And we got about 5 or 6 cornerbacks to fill those spots too that were just, guys that a lot of them are going to be juniors, a couple sophomores. One's a senior, that hadn't played in a couple years. And, we're rotating those guys and trying to give them all good, even reps and figuring out who can really handle those roles. And on the offensive side, we lost a couple offensive linemen. Briley Cunningham, Austin Wilhoit were good ones. But, again, we got a good, solid fill-ins there. Trenton Cowden, who started nose guard for us the past few years, is going to work in on the offensive line as well. As well as, we got about 3 or 4 other linemen that are filling different roles and can be great role players in there. One of them is going to grab that spot, just not sure which one it is. A couple guys are going to be juniors, Houston Morrison, Jonathan Green, Jaron Landis. Those are all guys that have filled roles the past few years, and they're all just battling for those couple spots. So, offensive line looks really good. We graduated both of our outside receivers, and really, we got a handful of kids that we feel can really fill those roles perfectly fine, whether it be route running, whether it be blocking. We got about, 6 guys that we can really rotate in there and not lose a whole heck of a lot and try to keep everybody good and fresh. And then finally at running back, Markel Humphrey was a stud. He was an all-state athlete last year. He had been a starter for us past 3 years, was two-way starter on our state team. He was a big loss for us. And but Mike Ferreira, who filled in last year when Aeneas got hurt, he's really had a great summer to showing some good things. We got a couple other little running backs too that can do some stuff, and Landon Essig and Nick Ferreira and Cody Colt. So we got some good guys to fill in. We've had a great summer, and it's just going to be who's going to step up and make the plays.
And obviously tomorrow starts the dead week statewide. What has your summer been like? Have you been able to get out and participate in some camps, clinics, 7-on-7? Just kind of run through what your summer's been like there.
It's been a great summer, right from the get-go. We lift 4 times a week. We haven't had a day where we've been under 68 kids. We've been between about 68 to 75 kids every single day. So that's been really good. They've been really accountable. Those kids been in there every single day working their butts off. We had through the month of June, what we do, we strictly just lift through the month of June, and then have every Monday we host 7-on-7 for just any local teams that want to come and do it. Bowling Green comes up every Monday. Quincy came down for a few of them. Palmyra came down, Mark Twain, Van Far, just a bunch of local schools come up and just get out there and compete a little bit and have some fun and some 7-on-7. And then when July hits, we basically lift for an hour and a half and then practice for an hour and a half. We don't go to any big team camps or anything. We do everything here, and just and work against each other really. And with the kids we have, even when we split them up in offense and a defense, we can put together 2 pretty solid teams against each other. Cooper. So, it's been a great summer. And really numbers in our summer really dial back to junior high. We started opening the weight room for junior high, last year, 2 years ago. And we've been getting about 50 kids, 7th and 8th grade kids every single day. So, that just helps. It gets them in the habit of coming in every morning, getting their 2 hours of work in, and then they can have the rest of the summer. So it's been really good. Kids have had a blast. They're developing really well. We got some great strength on the team, and they've really proven to us that they're living up to what we really expect out of them and our expectations as a coaching staff, and are ready for the season. We finished yesterday. We didn't practice today, but we finished our week yesterday, and in our camp had a little team session. Those kids wanted to play. We had to cut them short a little bit because they're trying to beat up on each other. But that's always good to see when kids are upset that you have to cut your practice short.
And we're just a handful of days away from the Jamboree here on August 18th. Tell us a little bit about your conference, kind of handicap it a little bit. Who are the members and who's going to be maybe at the top of that, and it may be the Pirates.
Yeah, we're an NCMC conference. We have Mexico, Moberly, Kirksville, Fulton, and Marshall. And all of them always have the potential to put together some really good teams. They're always loaded with athletes. It's just a year basis of really being able to put that stuff together. Mexico is always competitive. They're always just extremely well coached. They run a style of offense that's just really hard to deal with. They just hang on to the ball for a majority of the game and get their 3-4 yards a pop and just try to shorten the game and beat you physically. And Moberly's another one that's an extremely well coached team. Coach McDowell does a great job there. And they're getting some big time numbers. They've struggled the past couple years, but they've gotten some big time numbers. And I know Coach McDowell's excited about where their team's going these next few. And Creedmoor does a great job at Kirksville too. They're always super competitive. They're always extremely big. They're always just right on that borderline of putting together that solid, that really good season and taking that next step. So, those are always three schools in our conference that are always good competition. Fulton and Marshall have struggled quite a bit lately. They've dealt with a lot of coaching changes over the past few years, but they always have kids. They always have athletes every single year. It's just a case of them of really getting those couple groups together to put together a solid team year in, year out, and they've just kind of struggled a little bit with their consistency, but, they're coached well and they always do a great job coming out and playing hard. It's one of those things, where we just worry about ourselves coming in week by week and try to get better as we go.
Again, visiting with Hannibal Pirates head football coach Jeff Gschwender. And Coach, it's dead week is upon us. How are you going to spend your time here during the dead week as you head into the first week of practice?
Oh, it's gonna be nice. Just spend some time with the family. Like I said, we're busy. My son just got in junior high, so he's busy with camps and baseball. My two younger daughters have had, baseball and softball, basketball, volleyball camps throughout the summer. So, really, it's just we're going to spend this next week. We're heading up to Wisconsin to just chill out and to have some good time to our family. This might be one of the first vacations my family's taken where it's just our immediate family, not relatives and everything. So we're looking to really relax over the summertime and, really just gear up and get ready for next week.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you making yourself available here on the Missouri Sports Network, and hope you have a great year. Stay healthy, and we'll take some time maybe as the year gets going, and we'll get to visit once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
You bet. You're watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you.